Indy Mogul.
This week on Indie News, a lavalier microphone for your iPhone, Legos save your lens caps, an Oscar-nominated animated short, and I've completed my first zombie short film, so I'll take you behind the scenes. Hey Indie Mogulers, Griffin here. Last year I showed you some DIY techniques to turn an iPhone into an audio recorder. And this week, Rode Microphones announced smartLav, a $60 wired microphone that records to the iPhone, great for slipping into a pocket. For that kind of portable recording, I use this small recorder and lavalier mic. But I've included the smartLav promotional video in today's playlist simply because I think it's a well-made product video. I'm always misplacing lens caps, so I thought this was a cute DIY solution using Legos. Let me know in the comments if you have any lens cap tricks. It's 3 weeks until the Oscars, and there's a lot of buzz about this animated short by Disney called Paperman. It's one of 2 nominees that are available on YouTube. The other is Fresh Guacamole, which I shared last year, but it's also on today's playlist. I feel like I have a lot of props on today's show. Last week I talked about DIY camera sliders, and I tested out the Indy Slider Mini on the set of my short zombie film, which is now done, so you should click right here to take a look. And when you're finished, let's go behind the scenes on the production. Skylar, the mastermind behind this zombie card game, found this alley and local business to shoot in. To avoid filming on the busy street, I picked up the first 4 shots a mile away outside an abandoned building. Even my ugly storyboards are a helpful exercise. They force me to plan how I'll capture each shot, like what lens I'll use. My 55mm tilt lens captures an interestingly blurred perspective. Telephoto lenses, like this 200mm, crush distance, make the zombies look right behind her. Wide lenses do the opposite, so I used my 14mm to make the alley look longer. At 1 o'clock, the zombie makeup started. Sarah used tissues and glue for torn, flaky skin. We couldn't spend forever on makeup and perfect zombie costumes, so I avoided lingering close-ups, tried to obscure the zombies as much as possible. I grouped my shot list by lens to accomplish several shots per setup. By 3 o'clock we were out in the cold and mounted my $14 Snorri cam under Annie's jacket to get this shot. Here I'm using my Panasonic GH2 because it's lighter than the GH3 and has a slightly wider field of view. To keep this shoot clean and quick, I decided no blood splattering, so I replaced gore with cards to give it that card game twist. The game is in development, so Skylar made fake cards, and I created a card launcher. You may recall I last used the leaf blower as a DIY airbag. The plan was to hide the launcher behind this poster board, which I could chroma key out, so Andrew could recoil as cards fly from his imaginary exit wound. But the cards were slow, we couldn't get the timing right. Instead, I found the best takes and spliced them together with a mat. Sure, a little gun smoke and gore would be more realistic, but a muzzle flash for the fake gun, sound effects, and some fast edits are pretty convincing. To hit a zombie home run, I clamped our baseball bat to the slider. The smooth rotation let me speed it up without looking shaky. Alec wore this wig that simulates a head surprisingly well, while Josh flipped cards up from below. Again, sound effects do a lot of the work. And because these shots required tripods, I added a camera shake filter to match the other handheld shots. To help the cards show up without too much motion blur, I shot at a faster than usual shutter angle. Instead of 180 degrees, I used 45, which means shutter speed was set to 1/200th of a second. At 24 frames, this creates an intense, stuttered look. Because the GH3 can capture 60 frames per second at 1080 resolution, I shot lots of slow motion, with a shutter speed of 1/500th of a second. Even though it was freezing, we shot outside because it's a lot faster than setting up lights. But after completing the alley shots, we were 30 minutes behind schedule and almost out of sunlight. So we rushed over to location number 2 where I captured the disorienting opening shot, by mounting the slider sideways and tilting the tripod head. The sun was down when we started our interior shoot, so I had to scrap the fake hand-crushed indoor shot. Besides, it looked like a fake hand. To hide the fact that sunlight would have been coming through the door, I picked up some lens flares by lens whacking with the lens cap on, and used a luma keyer to layer them onto the shot. Again, some great sound effects make the sequence believable. I lit this room with 2 clamp lights, plus blue and purple gels. For this shot, I wanted an ominous shadow to appear, but it just didn't work. There wasn't enough contrast. So instead, I made it more dramatic with a fake flashlight effect.
It's okay.
I also faked Sarah's voice.
It's okay. We've got this.
By recording a cleaner track later.
It's okay. We got this. We got this.
Good sound is important. This opening shot needs to feel empty, but that doesn't mean silent, so I filled it with wind and crows. I used some natural sound from the camera, but layered in lots of sound effects. Zombie growls, this bag dropping, mayhem, and machete. I searched for these in the various sound effects collections I own, but you can also find free sounds online. And thanks to my composer friend Roy Magnuson for driving the tension with this great original music track. For color grading, I boosted contrast to accentuate the shadows, lowered color saturation to make it feel dismal, plus a slight red tint for an ominous mood. I have a habit of making everything brighter when I color correct, so on this project I tried to get comfortable with darker looking shots. I planned pretty well for this shoot, but 25 shots in 2 hours in the cold means I made mistakes. Continuity issues like no gloves, 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 no gloves. One of our production bags is in the background. The makeshift green screen is in this shot. Of course, that's easy to key out. Cutting corners on set means more time in post-production. For example, I spent several hours on this title screen. First, I set motion trackers on the asphalt to match the movement of the text to the background. Then lots of rotoscoping. That is, manually cutting out pieces of the text on 83 individual frames, just so the cards appear to float on the top. Final Cut 7 has a filter called 8-point garbage matte for this kind of thing, which Final Cut Pro 10 doesn't have, but a guy named Alex4D has developed 4, 8, and 16-sided masks that do the job. I think I love filmmaking because of the creative problem solving. I love spending hours and hours on a 1-minute video. So I hope you enjoyed the short film and today's behind the scenes look. And let me know in the comments what other questions you have about the production. If you're interested in The Abandoned, the zombie card game my friend Skylar is developing, you should like his Facebook page to stay up to date on the project. On today's playlist, I have the zombie short film, in case you were waiting until now to watch it, the smartLav iPhone microphone, the 2 Oscar-nominated short films, The Paperman and Fresh Guacamole, and this week's new and notable video contests. Thanks for watching, and I will see you Wednesday on our live show at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, here on Indy Mogul.